Hi all, Cynthia here, back with a art journal process video. So what I have on the page here already is just left over from other projects that I've done. So I've just cleaned stencils off or brushes off and just built the page up. I got to that stage and now I've decided that I will do something with the page. This particular journal page, I would say, was epic. It was a marathon. It's probably the longest it's ever taken me to do one. And not in the sense that in hours wise, yes, it was that too. But I started doing this part in May 2018. And I got it to a certain point and I just didn't like it. I couldn't figure out what to do with it. So I sat. I get to the next point. I do a little bit more. Still didn't like it. So I just sat it again. So I think I've worked on it about 4 times over the last, 8, 9 months. I finally finished it in end of December. So I got there. It took me a while, but I finally got there. So I did all the stenciling way back then. So what you've seen me do is I've pulled out some stencils from my stash and I'm just adding some sprays through it. Now, this spray bottle here, the yellow, even though it's in a Heidi Swap Colour Shine bottle, the actual Heidi Swap itself has run out. So I've just put a little bit of acrylic paint in there and added some water. It's still a little bit thick, so once I've used a little bit, I might add just a little bit more water and see whether I can thin it down and make it spray just a little bit better. So now I'm pulling out some Distress Oxide inks here, and I'm just going to use some of those through the stencils to see whether I'm just building up the background, adding texture, layers and depth to the background. And I use a couple of different stencils here as well. Liking the way that is looking. Adding more, obviously just thought there wasn't quite enough, as I said, texture and details going in the background, or now I'm just probably thinking it looks like a hot mess, so I've decided that I will just come in and cover it all up, maybe add some different colours and see what I can do here. It's feeling like that was just nothing in the background. I wasn't particularly liking it at all, so it was getting a little bit too dark as well, so I thought I'd come in and see whether I could just brighten it up again. So this, that floral piece down in the bottom left-hand corner is texture paste that I ran through a stencil at one stage, and I think there's another part of that on the page too. So here we go. I think this is actually another day. I've decided that I don't like it. I kept working on it, couldn't make it work. It's a bit too dark and muddy for me. So I think maybe if I just get some tissue paper, put that down over top, I can do something with it that way. So I've pulled out the matte medium gel and I'm just going to glue down this tissue paper. Not trying to make it too smooth, happy if it has the occasional wrinkle in it. And going to see what I can do with that. So I'm just making sure I seal both sides because I'll want to add a lot of other mediums on top, and I probably want to be able to, if I can, blend them in. So I want to make it non-porous if possible. So putting those down, and I can't remember whether I left this with the last time or whether this was a new time that I come back, to be honest. But just trimming off the excess now. There we go, get rid of that. And I'll be able to tell here in a moment whether this is my third or take at it, or whether this is still the second time I'm working on the page. But this is back again, so back this time I've put down these number stickers. These have been in my stash forever and a day. I know I'm not going to use them, and I always think, oh, I should be able to use them on a background somewhere. Well, I've had a bit of a clean out of my art supplies recently and my scrapbooking supplies, and I said, right, I'm either going to use them or I'm going to toss them. So I sat them in the art journal book and said, if the next time I make an art journal page I don't use them, I'm going to throw them out. So I decided I'll work on this one again. And I thought, right, I'm going to put those down the background, see what we can do here. So this is probably my fourth go at this page, and it is the last time I do come to a conclusion working on it this time. It's just one of those pages, the whole thing all the way through just never really came together for me. I really struggled each time, and I know every time I do an art journal page, it goes through a stage where I think it's hideous and horrible and it's just never going to come together, and I just keep pushing on through and it comes out the other side, and I really like the outcome of it. So this is what I did with this one. I just kept pushing on through and kept going, kept adding layers, just kept trying. It come through. It's not my favourite page, but I don't dislike it. I love the colours. I love the concept. I just felt that it just didn't quite come together. And when we come to the end a little bit further down, we'll see what I'm talking about. So now I've just grabbed out, as you saw, I've grabbed out the paints. Starts with Dylusions paints, and I've added those in a couple of places, and I was trying to make them sort of blend and roll in between some of these letters that are in the background, because those letters were quite thick. I actually think they were initially for you put them on your house to number your house. I picked them up at a second-hand store one day, thinking I would use them in an art journal page. And so they actually are quite thick, and they have so they give a lot of texture and dimension to the page, and I really like that. And I was trying to get some of the paints to sort of drip in around it. And you see in the close-up photos that the look that it's given, and I really like the look. So I do go back in, I think at the end, and maybe add a little bit of shading around some of those numbers. I can't quite tell. We'll have a look when we get there. So I think I have done enough to the background. Just going to add these circles and stop working on the background. Just trying to put some white back onto the background to give it a little bit of lightness again. There we go. And then I grabbed this cut file this is from the Wild Hair kits. I received this in my November kit, I believe, and I just hadn't got around to using it. And I thought I would use it on this page. So I'm going to make a reef on the page. Just going to trim it down a little bit to make it fit this actual page a little bit. And I really like the way this come together. I just lay some of those pieces over top of each other. And I've grabbed out the Daphne's Diary, and there's a couple of pages there where it has all these florals in it, flowers, and I've gone through, fussy cut them all out and cut them all in half, and I'm just going to go ahead and layer them up around the reef. So there's some flowers, all different types of flowers, and then there's some green leaves as well. And I layer all those up. I just tuck them in. I'm trying to put them on top and underneath. I do put them down here, and I cut away soon when I go to glue them all down, so you don't need to watch me gluing them all down. That didn't quite work out quite as, I don't know, just didn't come back down exactly the same second time around. There we go. I'm now going to glue it down, and I stopped the camera to show you, so you don't have to watch me pick them all up and glue them all down one by one. But the problem is I forgot to turn the camera back on. And there we go. So I've glued them all down, and I had done a little bit of shading around them, added a little bit of white gesso over the top to give them some sprinkles. You can see there in the bottom right hand corner I've added a butterfly. And now what I am doing, I'm going around, I'm feeling like they've now blended in a little bit too much, and I'm grabbing a black pen and I'm just doing scribbly doodles all the way over the flowers and the leaves, just trying to get them to stand out a little bit more. I just couldn't get the shading on this one right for me this time. I really struggled with it. So this is where I said earlier that I love the colours and I love the concept, but it's just not popping off the page quite as much as I would like, and quite as much as what I can normally get something to pop off the page. But there you go, you get that sometimes. You don't win them all. I still like it. I still think it's very pretty. I've gone through and I've added some little gems here and there throughout the reef. And now I'm just coming in to put my title down. And once I put these two down, I'm pretty much done. There's lots of close-up photos at the end where you get to see some really good texture and what's happening in the background. I love the number 6. You'll see a photo of that. I just really like the details that number gives. Gluing this one down here that says Believe. These are little puffy stickers that are from, I think they were from a Pink Fresh Studio collection at some stage. And this one up here says, Just Be Brave. And I like the way both of those look. And that's pretty much coming to the end, as I said. So if you like the process, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Love reading all your comments. And just sticking a couple of those little stars down, and I'm done. If you're not already, feel free to subscribe. Love to get some new subscribers. Adding some more little details, making the title stand out. I underline it with lots of scribbly scribbles, and I'm done. As always, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the process. Please give me a thumbs up if you did, as I said, and I will catch you on the next video. Until then, have a lovely day, a lovely week, or a lovely month. Talk to you then. Bye.